Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited about today's conversation. You guys know that the internet is filled with just nonsense, for lack of a better term. So much nonsense, so much content out there making women just look horrible and giving the worst advice. And like those are the videos that are always getting a ton of content, a kind of ton of views. And it can almost create this false reality that all women are living like that. And I am here to let you guys know that that is not the truth. There are still women out there who have common sense, and there are still women out there who actually believe in trying to live lives that are productive and common sense. So I'm really excited for a special guest I have today. She has a lot of wisdom to share and has a very unique story. So I'm just going to bring her on, and then we're going to get into it. If you guys are on here, by the way, hit the like button. So support to the show as always. Cash apps are open, Venmo, all that jazz. And then I will be sure to acknowledge all super chats. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, how are you tonight?
I am good. Again, thank you for being here. I'm really excited about today's conversation. I think it'll be quite interesting. But before we get into some of the reactions, would you mind just telling the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me on. I'm
Yeah.
Carla. I am a mom and a wife of 33 years and a mom of 11 total. I gave birth to 6 of them and we've adopted 5 children. My oldest is 30 and married with a grandbaby, and my youngest is 2.5. So I still have a toddler also. And I'm a grandma times 2. When we were on with Allie the other night, my daughter was in labor. She had the baby before the end of the night on
Oh my
Thursday night. So she had a little boy. So I have 1 grandson and 1 granddaughter right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I,
Yes. So
I still can't get over the fact that you had 11 kids on purpose.
I mean, you really have to have on purpose when
Yeah.
you adopt, right? Like there's
Yes.
no
Absolutely.
accidental adoptions
Yeah.
happen. I'm the oldest of 8 kids. I knew
Okay.
I wanted a big family, and
Okay.
6 was big. And then yeah, that became a whole other thing that my husband and I really felt we were called to do.
Okay.
In our 40s, didn't adopt our first kid till I was 44 years
Oh
old.
wow. Wow.
So had all 6 bios first, and then went on that adoption train. 4 of my kids are from Ukraine. We
Okay.
went overseas, adopted them in 2 separate adoptions. 3 of them are like half siblings to each other.
Wow.
We adopted all 3 at the same time. I always said I'm so bummed I didn't get to have twins. Like I've had singles, and then like I adopted 3 at one time, but like I never got to do the 2,
Okay.
do the twins there. But can't do everything in this world.
Yeah.
But we have a ton of fun here at home. I only have 6 children at home under the age of 18 right now. Some days it feels like not that many. Sometimes it feels like a lot. But there's been more. I mean, when we moved to this place 4 years ago, um, how many were at home? 9. I had 9 kids all at home at the same time, and my 90-year-old mother-in-law living with me.
Okay.
So the more the merrier is the rule in our household, and just having a wonderful time with my awesome husband, my fantastic kids. Sometimes I spend a little too much time in the kitchen than I would prefer to, but you gotta have something. There's always something. Nothing's perfect. Okay. The grass is always greener on the other side. And I guess that's what I'm excited to see from these videos you're going to pop up, because these people be talking about things they have no idea
No idea.
about and are preaching them like gospel. And I'll be interested to see what the internet has come up with us to properly critique.
Properly critique. Okay, well, again, thank you for coming on. Beautiful story. I mean, you said 6 kids natural, 5 adopted. The
Yeah.
most you had was 9. I hear a baby in the background, so you are still good.
Yeah, there is. She's out there with the other people there.
And
Yeah.
and you know what's funny? For those of you who didn't know, I actually met this lovely woman on it was a Wife Life panel through Real Femme Sapien. Shout out to her. And each time I've had the privilege of being on a panel with you, like you actually seem like you have energy. You seem joyful. Now, granted, I mean, I haven't met you in person, but the kind of tired, overwhelmed, stressed mom that I tend to see, or our kids worth it mom that I tend to see being pushed online. You don't really give that, at least that impression. So
I don't do the wine mom thing. I mean, I love a glass of wine, don't get me wrong, but I'm not in the camp of, oh my gosh, they're sucking all the life out of me and I need, chemical and or other help in order to regain myself. My children made me the person I am,
okay.
along with my marriage, and I'm happy every day. And yeah, it's my first of all, I'm just a pretty naturally optimistic person. My mom would tell you that. I've just always been happy, energetic. I also do though what I need to do in order to keep that going. I exercise. I watch what I eat. I'm currently on this challenge now until Easter. I'm keeping an eye on some things I want to tweak and tune. I never believe there's a point where we can get to where we can say we're done. All right, I've done everything. Now I'm going to relax. Now it's time for me. I believe God left me on this earth. I woke up this morning. I have something to do, and it's to better myself and the people around me.
Yep. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. Shout out to you for that. Well, without further ado, I do want to get into some of the different videos. I have quite a few. So let me pull some of them up and then we can get started. Okay. I'm just going to get in order. Okay. All right, let me start with this one. Part of this could just be algo stuff, but it just seems like I get more and more like crazies. I don't know how to put it, or just like crazy information. And I'm like, where is this stuff coming from? My goodness. Okay, let me see. Actually, which one is that? That is the okay. Okay. So let's start this one. This is a lady who her entire channel, from what I gather, is about trying to warn women. Supposedly, it's about trying to warn women against narcissists. But the theme that is oftentimes given is that women are better off by themselves and that they should just secure their bag, get the bag, and be away from men. And actually, women who are married to men are lying and they're capping because they're secretly married.
Okay.
Let me play it for you, and then you can hear it yourself.
The male.
Okay, oops, let's
single life is a peaceful life. And before I get into this video, I already know I'm going to trigger and piss off all the narcissists, the male narcissists and the female narcissists scrolling through this app. And the street term for female narcissists is pick-misha, pick-me, mammy, and mule. And the street term for male narcissists is Ray Ray, Pookie, and Dusty. Both male and female narcissists are clowns, and I can expect for them to get in my comment section and be aggravated, and I'm just going to block the fuck out of them. Let me explain to you that being single is a gift from God. The only people that are going to have a problem with you being single, happy, and free are those that are miserable and stuck in toxic relationships and toxic, miserable marriages. Those types of people are called toxic codependents, and they're narcissistic. And they depend and thrive on the need to be in a relationship with someone in order to validate themselves so that they can hide or mask their insecurities. They will put up and tolerate with a lot of bullshit, disrespect, and abuse just for the sake of holding on to a title of being in a relationship, being engaged and or married or living with someone toxic. But when they see or hear a single person enjoying their freedom, enjoying their money, enjoying life, traveling, they envy that. Do you understand me? Why do you think abusive men stay attacking women? And a lot of these men be married. They got whole wives at home that they hide from the public, and they're fucking miserable with their wives. And the only reason they're still married is because the wife is paying the bills and holding down the household. But he's fucking, trust me, he's miserable with his wife. These married men be on this app stalking single women, keeping up with our lives, and then they try to insert themselves in our business. We're not even talking about men or bothering them, but they feel the need to jump in the comment section and jump in our business when we're talking about single shit, single, independent, happy, free, minding our business, sipping our tea, enjoying life. They big mad. Y'all hear me? And it's the same for the toxic women that are stuck and trapped in relationships with abusive men, and they're scared to leave, not for their safety, but they're scared to leave because they don't want people looking down on them because they can't keep a man. So when I tell you, enjoy your single life, don't envy these married people. Don't envy people that are in relationships. Most of the time, they're fucking miserable because they ended up with the wrong person and they're locked down into that relationship and they're fucking miserable and they want to project their misery onto you, the single person who's happy and free. Why do you think the divorce rate is so high?
Okay. So are you a narcissist?
I don't think so.
Are you miserable?
I know. I'm so not. And neither is my husband, who whispered to me this morning lovely things in my ear about how he's not depressed. And like it, okay. So there's a lot. There's 3 points. There's three things she's talking about. Number one, I don't have any problem if she or any other woman wants to remain single. You do you. Have a cat, have a dog. Well, I found the late great Kevin Samuels 6 months before he passed away, and started consuming his content, because this was a whole other side that, traditionally religious me and my kiddos in the Midwest did not see. Okay. Yeah. It's a different dynamic. And that was when I first heard about Pookie and Ray Ray and all that. Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing. He said, if you want to be alone, go ahead, get a dog and die alone. But what I hear from in my DMs and on my Instagram is women want to be married. Men want to have a wife to love and care for and protect and provide for. If they didn't, no one would care about my page. No one would care about what I'm doing with my loving husband of 33 years and my 11 children. Yeah. It's actually the opposite. Yeah. We who are happily married don't mind if you're not interested in going through this huge self-improvement project called marriage and parenthood. Yeah. If you're not on that train, okay, that's up to you. I don't know. Am I pick me because I'm a happily married woman? And actually,
yes, you are.
Yes. Okay. And I'm coping in the abuse I do every day because I don't want to be alone. Okay. First of all, like, I don't do this. I'm not a pick me for money. I'm a practicing attorney. I could go make my own money any day. I make my own money now. It's his money. My money is our money at this point. Yeah. This is not because I can't do anything else with my life. This is because in the long term, I am convicted that a man and a woman together working through a marriage is the best self-improvement project in the world and does the most for the family unit and society. Mm-hmm. I'm convicted of that. The more and more women like that talk, the more and more convicted that I am that I'm right. Yeah. Okay. Number two, I have 11 children. Actually, one is up in heaven. He died young. One of the children we adopted had a severe disability and died when he was 2.5. So I have 10 children on the face of the earth. And it's right now, the way the world works, 5 people have to be working to support one retired person for the government benefits that they get. Wow. When they're, when you're talking Medicare, you're talking Social Security. Yeah, because they didn't put this money you and I put in 30 years ago in a fund and left it there. They're cash flowing this. Yep. Yep. And there's no money. So it takes 5 working people to support one old retired person. Wow. Well, let's see. I've got 10 kids. That's 5 for me, 5 for my husband. Where's that woman getting her 5? How's she going to do this when she's 70 years old? I don't think the cat's going to be paying for her. So somehow she's expecting people to be having babies who are 30 years younger than her paying for her benefits when she retires. So that's just practicality. Number 2. It's, that's a number 3. I've seen some very sad marriages. And I've seen some very happy marriages. Yes. And, there might be some women who want to stay, and they shouldn't be made to feel bad for wanting to stay. It is a good thing to want to take your vows seriously before God and the government. And it is a good thing to want to try to live as best you can and to bring that person who you promise to love and honor, to bring them up with you instead of dropping them at their lowest point when they're not doing well, whether they're mired in alcoholism or another addiction or anything else. It's a beautiful sacrificial thing that somehow used to be honored and now has been turned into, oh, why are you throwing away your life? You should get rid of this loser. And I've told part of the story before. My husband had a very abusive father, and his mom made the decision to stay. did the best she could with the 3 kids. She lived in quiet dignity. She loved him in a respectful way and called him to be better. He had some real demons. He was a veteran before kind of we knew what PTSD did to people, right? But she knew. She would tell me all the time, I knew this wasn't him. This wasn't him, that when he was beating them, when he was drinking away the paycheck and she had no money for the month and had to send the kids over to the neighbors. Yeah. She said, I this wasn't him. And I'm going to do what I can to get him back. And then he got cancer when he was 80 and she nursed him through it. And she told him on his deathbed, literally the day he died, John, I forgive you. I forgive you for everything. I wish it had been different, but I'm going to forgive you for me. And so that you can be at peace. And he died later that day. And if that just wasn't just the most sterling example of love and devotion from a woman who had every reason to chuck out of there and go. And you know what she got from it? She got 3 sons who were devoted to her because they knew how hard she worked.
Wow.
To keep them safe and do the best. Devotion from the 2 daughter-in-laws of the 2 sons she married. I took care of my mother-in-law in my own home while she was on hospice for the last year until she died, because she was owed that for what she did and that sacrifice she made. I want to see who's taking care of that woman when she's 90.
Man, wow. That is such a moving story. A lot to think about, and it's interesting you make that point, how you're saying there used to be a time where sacrificing for a particular person and long suffering for the person, that was seen as it was admired.
Yes.
And now it's almost reverse, right? Where it's like self first. And I do understand, like I myself am in Al-Anon program 12 step, which is friends or family of alcoholics. So I really understand the dynamics of that. And, trying to set healthy boundaries and so that person is protected and you are protected is important in those dynamics. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you just are going to, you're going to leave somebody when they're in their sickness, or you're going to leave a loved one when they're weak. And I think you make a really, really great point where now it's just like, as soon as it gets tough for somebody, or as soon as someone you say you love is going through a hard time, now it's putting yourself first. And that means that you can just leave whenever.
That's right.
And I think that it's almost like there's a different I don't know if it's a different caliber of woman, but certainly, yes, I think that does exist. And I don't know if that's a training thing. I don't know if that's if it's self-entitlement, if it's both. But that story that you heard, I think it's beautiful. But yeah, your average person, I don't want to say your average person, but a lot of modern women today would say, pick me, would say that she was, settling for less, that she shouldn't have done any of that kind of different stuff. But that's what the life she chose to live. And I'm sure she reaped a lot of inner peace from it.
She did. She was joyful and had this peace and serenity level about her, literally till days before she died, and made all the people around her better because of that. That was what she could do. She had my husband and I got married young, very young, and had no money, right? She didn't have any money to help us, but what she did when we were both in law school was she invited us over on Sunday so we could, she would do my laundry. So I could sit and study, and she'd be making dinner, and my husband would watch the ball game. And she did the little things she did that didn't really cost money, but gave us a level of support. She gave of herself. My children will talk to you that that grandma always wanted to hear what they were doing, wanted to listen to what their concerns were.
Yeah.
It's a different perspective than a narcissist who's only caring about themselves. They only care about that other person with relation to what that other person can give them. Yeah. My mother-in-law was a totally generous, giving soul. And whenever I get in that kind of grasping point, because we all pain is not nice. I don't like pain. I don't want to deal with the hardship, but I can look back at that and go, wow, what an example. how can I kind of channel that attitude to make the best of the situation, make my children feel loved no matter, I mean, we have 10 kids, and while we have a very nice middle-class life, I also can't give them things that my friends that have 2.2 children can.
Yeah.
And I don't work full-time as an attorney making six figures. I work a little bit here and there for friends and family around the needs of my children and my husband. And it pays for travel, cheer, and volleyball. But we don't have a summer home and, aren't going down to the islands for our vacations.
Yeah.
I live in a pretty affluent area, and I would say the majority of people have those things and do those things.
Yeah.
But that to us, we made that decision. We're okay with it. And I want to put that is how we've chosen to live. And we're happy about it. This is why we're happy about it, because we can develop these things in our personality and in our children's character. And I hope I'm contributing good people to the world. That's what I hope. She might be happy herself. I'm sure she lives in more peace than I do. I'm sure her house is way more quiet and more clean than mine. And I'm glad that's okay for her. But who's going to contribute good people to the world? Not her, apparently, if she's going to be single and not have children and not have a spouse that can also contribute to the world. This is what we've got to look at. We have to look beyond ourselves. But here's the kicker. She'll never feel that whisper in her ear like I did this morning. That's my reward.
Yeah.
She won't get that. I might not get the quiet and the vacation and that. I get that reward. And she can call me a pick-me and I'm coping all she wants, but that makes me beyond happy every day at the age of 55.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she 55? Let's see if she says the same thing at 55 or 65 or 75 when, she doesn't have anyone visiting her in that nursing facility that we don't know how it's going to get paid for because there's not enough people around working to pay for it.
Yep. That's a whole nother. I don't even think the society is truly prepared for one of single, aging, childless people that are going to be entering, within the next generation or so. So
even Elon Musk says that's a problem, right? Just from a purely numbers point of view, it's problematic. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, good luck to her, dear. I hope your TikTok and your cats make you very happy.
For some people, cats
okay.
Your best friend. Okay, so I wish I was done, but I'm not actually. Okay. I have some more for you.
Love it.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. There's like so many videos.
Right, I know.
Okay, so this one is, well, I guess you'll just have to see it.
Okay.
You'll just have to see it because now you said, correct me if I'm wrong, you said you are a practicing lawyer, correct? Yeah, practicing attorney. Yep. So that means you had to pass like your bar exam. Which
I did. I did indeed.
Certainly not. Is this the one? Okay, I'm trying to find the right one.
Top 15% of my law school class.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did that back in the day.
Okay. So also, real quick, I want to give a special shout out. I did see. Is it I hope I didn't butcher that. Desalines. I think that's what it is. Shout out to you with the 20 on the super chat. I do appreciate you. Guys, if you're on here, hit that like button. And now we're on to reaction number 2. So the reason I wanted to ask you all those questions is because, as a lawyer, to be a lawyer and to pass and to be in the top 50% of your class, you obviously can't be dumb.
Right.
But according to this content creator, being wife material is an insult, and that's totally dumb. So I want to explain why being a wife is dumb. Let's see.
Insult to your intelligence as a woman, okay? And I'm going to tell you why it's an insult and it's a code. Firstly, it's an insult because if you've ever noticed, the men who call women wife material always say that to women that they don't marry. Like, it's literally, guys, it's a joke at this point. They always say that to the woman they don't marry. They'll say it to a girlfriend, a side chick, a friends with benefits. They don't say that to the woman that they do marry, okay? Why is that? It's because wife material is code for you are dumb. You are dumb, you cook, you clean, and you are loyal, and I can cheat you and do whatever to you, and you will still be here. It is code for dumb B. Okay, definitely a code. The next time any man calls you wife material, you need to ask him, okay, since I'm wife material, why aren't you marrying me then? Why am I not married to you right now? So, ladies, please do not let these men insult your intelligence. Okay? Do not let them insult your intelligence. Any man who calls you wife material who has a ring on you is calling you dumb to your face. That's what they're doing. They are literally calling you dumb to your face in code. Nothing to be proud of, honestly. Me, I take it as an insult, to be honest. I take it as an insult because if I really was wife material, then why are we not married then? Why? Why, sir?
I think you're not married because those fingernails, sis. Whoa. Those were some claws with weird slashes and curves. Like what? Okay. That's
she's not married because of the slashers.
yeah. What was that? Like Wolverine. Okay. All right. So she's talking about, so I saw a post by Suzanne Venker today. She is another relationship expert who really talks about reclaiming the proper roles between men and women, that men and women have to talk about things up front. Okay. Yeah. They need to not go along with the current cultural narrative. They need to talk about things up front. So, you know, my name on Instagram is Don't Become Roommates, 1989. Yeah. And it's Don't Become Roommates for two reasons. Number one, that's for the old women like me who've been married forever. Don't just be a roommate with your husband. I'm having some DMs with a woman who might do some coaching, 5 kids within 11 years. She lost it and they're roommates, and now he might be with another woman, and he says he wants a divorce, but they can't afford it because they became roommates. She said it happened about 10 years ago, right after the 5th kid was born. She stopped trying. He stopped trying. So it turns into, no, but you don't, you know, being roommates is not sustainable.
Yeah.
If you want more. Okay. And you have share children together, and that it's not. So that's the one, don't become roommates. Number 2 is don't become roommates when a guy asks you to live with him in lieu of asking you to marry him. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, now I'll get back to Suzanne Venker. She posted a slide today that said something like, women become live-ins because they see it as a step towards marriage. But the man asks you to be a live-in because he sees it a way to postpone commitment. So the male mind comes at it from one way, the female mind comes at it from another way. What she doesn't get is that when she's doing wifey things for someone and hasn't made him live up to that standard, she's cheapened herself, and now she is no longer wife material.
Yeah.
Because wife material is wife material from the beginning. You don't discount yourself. You don't audition. You don't do wifey things for 10 years in the hopes of becoming a wife later. You are either in that space from the very close start of the relationship. I'm not telling you, single ladies out there, you need to tell the man you want to marry him on date 1 or 2 or 3. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, do not scare them. Do not do that. Totally. It's a bad idea. What I do have to say is you have to have in your mind, I am dating because I want to be married at what point? Now, if you have no desire to be married, what you're doing is what's currently called dating, and it's probably not going to get you there. If you want to get there, you have to be a lot more intentional about how you're presenting yourself on a date and in the dating as that moves forward.
Right.
But cheapening yourself, and, you know, you can't hop in bed with the guy after a coffee date and expect him to see you as wifey material. That's not how it works. No matter what weird Netflix show you've watched that promises you 5 years down the road he'll say you're his soulmate, blah 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 blah. It's a bunch of lies. Okay, a man knows very quickly whether you are the kind of woman who he wants to share his life and bear his children. Like they actually, it's kind of almost kind of a split-second decision. Which category are you put in? It's how that Y chromosome works. We as women take a little longer to vet a man properly and go, do I, you might be instantly physically attracted to him. And that's not negotiable either. Hopefully you really are attracted to them as a physical person and as a human being. But we do take a little longer because we have the bigger investment with the kids, right?
Right.
We have to take a little longer and go, yeah, he's really cute, but is he a man of integrity? Is he a hard worker? What level of maturity is he showing? I mean, he's really fun taking me out and to do this, that, and the other, and I have a nice time with him and yada, yada. But is this long-term? And the only way you can do that is if you take a step back from sex too early, physical intimacy too early, and have that headspace and that mind space to go, I'm in this for marriage, so I'm going to take the time to vet you, sir, and make sure I've made that decision with my logical brain as opposed to my emotions. Those fingernails tell me that woman lives in emotions all day, every day. There's those fingernails. I'm sorry. Look at my fingernails compared to that woman's fingernails. You know what my fingernails are like this from? Washing dishes, taking care of children, giving my husband a back rub, typing to make money on a side for my kids. I can't afford. I'm not what weird princess weirdo has those. You can't do anything with them. That's the minute a man sees that, it tells him, I'm not willing to work with you and for you. I'm a princess. Put it all here. That's I promise you. That's what a man said. Are there any guys popping up in the comments here? Because I want to see if you're a guy, is that what those snuffleupagus eyelashes and those fingernails say to you? I am high maintenance. I'm going to cost you a heck of a lot of money, and I'm not doing a thing because I'm the prize. Piffle. A man wants someone to build with, to work with. He knows taking care of his children isn't a cakewalk, and he wants someone that's willing to dig in and do it. I laugh and say, God had a sense of humor having my husband. My husband's the hardest working man in the entire world. I said, God has a sense of humor because he made me marry the only man in the world that makes me look lazy. Because I'm pretty with it. I'm pretty out there. And that appealed to him incredibly because he was such a hardworking person. He wanted to know if someone was going to be there in the thick of it with him. Who's going with him on that quest for what he's trying to do, his mission.
You make a really, really good point there, because I guess you're right. You're saying like, okay, when women come with like all this excess, right? The latest beauty trends, sometimes I think very much trying to emulate like the IG models. What like men who are looking for wives are thinking is, cha-ching, this is just an expensive check. This is a princess who wants to be taken care of. This is not somebody who can work alongside me to raise kids. Because to your point, raising kids, you got long nails like claws. You're trying to change a diaper.
Yeah, no, it don't work. No dice.
So you're saying they're thinking practically like this is maybe a hit it and quit it, but this is not
that is 100%. You are presenting yourself from moment 1 second. And she could have the best brain in the world and the most maternal heart in the world. But a man who's marriage minded sees that and she's immediately in playtime category.
Playtime category. But you know what? And that's probably consistent. If you look at her other page, she has one page talking about how to date unattractive men for money. And she's like, looking at the ATM. So I don't, once you get to that mindset, it's like, that's not a wife. If you're literally saying that ATMs, that's not, you do at that point, You don't want to be trying to change diapers. You don't want to actually do the work associated with being a wife. And so you put yourself in another category. And some women, I think, basically, like I have, especially more recently, I've come to the conclusion that like not all women are wives. You can't just like
No.
one day and just think, okay, I've been sleeping around for the last 40 years. Now my prince and charming, shining armor is going to come and sweep me off my feet because I prayed for 2 seconds. Like,
yeah,
no, like there are qualities and characteristics and there's sacrifice and there's work associated with that. And a lot of what we are presented in mainstream media and different television shows and magazines, all these different ways, we are presented a princess fantasy, but we are not presented the actual work associated with being a wife. You gave the example a few minutes ago of a woman who essentially spent her life continuing to sacrifice for her husband and for her family, and she reaped internal benefits of it. She had a joyous countenance, but she wasn't going on. I'm sure she probably wasn't going on every couple of weeks on all these lavish trips and getting all these newest nails and the freshest hairstyle, and she was working.
Nor am I in my incredibly happy, satisfying marriage. I'm not. Because that's not what marriage is for. There is this lie that that's what marriage is for, to have someone to pay the bills for you and to do that. Or again, why then? I mean, and again, if a woman's a high earner, why would you want to get married? I'll provide that for myself. But that's not the point of marriage. It really isn't. Like I said, it's to be on the biggest self-improvement journey of your life and to give the world something wonderful, whether that's in the children you raise or the example you give, or just a stable family unit that stabilizes the neighborhood and the society around you. That's what it's about. And again, until you do it, you don't know the rewards of it, because there are internal rewards and they're big, but you're not going to know until you do it. And doing it, though, requires a shift that many modern women are not willing to do. And that's, like you said, some are just not wives. Honestly, there used to be a big group. Again, I'm a lawyer. I do a lot of real estate work.
Yeah.
Do you know when I first started doing deeds for real estate transactions 25-ish years ago?
Okay.
If a woman was unmarried, you had to deed it to Carla Dobrovitz's spinster. They literally used the word 25 years ago, spinster. And spinster meant a currently unmarried and has never been married woman.
Wow.
It had the two things. So now we put an unmarried woman, but it doesn't make clear, are they a widow? Did they die before? Are they divorced and not since remarried? Unmarried. There used to be a very specific category of woman who was probably the school teacher, right? Who was a nurse, who was a nun, who lived in a way where she did not get married. And there was also a very different, there was a category of men who did not marry either. But there was a way bigger category than we have now. Average men who were happy to marry an average woman and vice versa.
Yeah.
Happy about it.
Yeah.
Both 3s or 4s, right? On our scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Never making more than whatever the average is, maybe to the low end. And I contend that they are still happier in the long run if they treat each other well, kindly. They're looking out for the good of the people. If they share children together and they do that the right way, I contend they will be exceptionally happy at the end of their lives in a way that someone who is not married, sure, they can be satisfied. Again, though, is it really their choice? Is that how it would have been? Actually, the lovely lady who's helping me take care of my little girl right now, she's never been married and is a nurse and is the most joyful, loving person ever. But she always said, like, I knew I never wanted to be married. Okay. I just knew I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to go do this. I wanted to go do that. She worked as a missionary for a while. She did this, she did that. Like, great, awesome. You're doing what you wanted to do and were meant to do, and so am I. Yeah. So, but yeah, I will tell you, I don't know who this woman is talking to. she doesn't think, these men don't think a wifey material is dumb. They just think you're not it.
Right. And I think that, I think that's the more, see, it's harder to admit that because that would require self-reflection.
Correct.
And then being like, okay.
And change. And change.
Yes, yes. And I think
and change.
Something earlier where it's like at the end of the day, there's a lot of women. Like how many women, at least in the West or in, you know, in this climate in America, would be willing to make that transition? Because the program that we're getting is that. The programming that a lot of us are hearing is more in line with what she is saying. It's not in line with what your mother-in-law was doing, with sacrificing,
that's
and long suffering with her husband, being alongside by his side when he was in cancer. That's not what we're hearing. We are hearing self-love, focus on yourself. You know, you shouldn't settle, although water seeks its own level. So that doesn't make any sense. But you know, just all this stuff about like me, my. And that mindset, I don't think does very well in a marriage. Certainly not long term. Can't imagine it would. So,
yeah. All right, let's do one more. I got time for one more.
Okay, one more.
Pick one more.
Let's see what we got. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. In the meantime, if you're here, hit that. Also, hit the like button if you're here. Show support to the show. Cash App, Venmo, Shay Sade. As always, I'll be sure to acknowledge all super chats. And again, let me see. I got some good ones over here. I'm trying to see what's gonna. Okay, actually, I think this might be a good one. Okay. I think this. Okay, so it looks like Carla hopped off for a second.
Where did I go?
Oh.
Where did I go? There I went. Sorry, it went away.
Okay, no worries.
I got you.
Okay, yeah. So I got one more. I think this is a quick one, but this I think will really go in line with what you were saying as far as what men are thinking when they are looking for like a wife versus if they want to take care of a princess, which I don't know one man out there who is signing up to take care of a princess, because that just sounds like it would be a bill. Okay, let me pull this one. Okay, that's not it. Okay.
As being a housewife is not a reward. Being a woman of leisure is a reward.
But that's the same thing.
No, they're not. No, they're not. If you're a woman of leisure, if you are a woman of leisure, you don't have responsibilities. Your responsibility is being a woman of leisure. If you are a housewife, you maintain and you manage the house. That's not a fucking reward. It's a job. Whether it's only 20 hours a week, it's still a job.
If
you're trying to reward me because I was there through the tough times, let me be a woman of leisure. Let me be a kept woman. That is a reward. Rewarding me with washing dishes is not a fucking reward.
Oh,
okay. So,
woo.
What
you know? So here's the thing, because I saw. Did you see that kind of virally TikTok going around where the girl was putting the wedding dress in front of her, and then it skewed to her holding a mop and then holding a baby and then having cleaning supplies, and then she throws the wedding dress away and runs away?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
So that was a TikTok that was going around a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
About, like, oh no, this is what I get when I'm married. And I might have sent it to Allie on Real Femme Sapien, or I sent it to someone, and I went, do single people not have to clean bathrooms? Who cleans a single person's bathroom?
Right.
Is there a special single person cleaning service that I don't know about? That all the women who are single never have to wash a dish or clean a bathroom or do anything? Guys, you're doing these things for yourself if you're not married, unless you have a maid. And if you are, and if you have a maid while you're single, why wouldn't you have one when you're married if you're clearly making that much money? Go ahead, pay for a maid, whatever. I don't think your husband's going to care whether you're washing that dish or the maid is if you had a maid. However, the truth is you're washing dishes if you're single. Why does it all of a sudden become oppression once you're married? We all have to do some level of maintenance for our lives and our homes. She's got to do that stuff whether the man is there or not. Now, reward me. Okay. I'm going to say probably now at age 55, I do less physical labor than I did as a 30-year-old young mother. Is it because we have a little bit more money than we used to? Yes. It's because I'm a little older and I'm a little creakier and some things are harder? Yes. Is it because I now have children to do those things for me and I make them do it? Yes. So I sometimes laugh that I'm a little bit of a princess now after 33 years of marriage and 10 children here to help me out. That's not what she's talking about. The minute that man puts a ring on your finger, you don't get to abdicate all the responsibilities of an adult human being and live as a woman of leisure. That's ridiculous. And I dare any woman who has a high, I mean, my husband is technically in the top, what is it? 5% of earners, for sure. 10% definitely yes. I think he's 5% of earners. Like, that doesn't mean I don't get to do 95% of what normal human beings have to do to maintain themselves and the people they love all day. That's just silly. It never worked out that way, except for the richest 0.01% of the whole world. And most of the people who are married at my age, who started out with the husband who's now making a lot of money, you were not for 5 years. It wasn't like the minute he put that ring on your finger, you got out everything. You worked like a dog next to him for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And we did. We worked hard, and yeah, now we reap some of the rewards. But what you're talking about, being a woman of leisure, that's just silly and it's unrealistic. And it's part of this whole digital culture where the whole idea is, you know, you do as little as possible to make as much. I'm not from that day. I have tried to instill something else other than that to my kids. My 30-year-old son is a truck driver. He's a hardworking man and he supports his wife and his child.
That's great.
He does a great job with that. He's not a lawyer like mom and dad. He's a truck driver. And it's awesome. And I'm proud of him every day. He had a severe learning disability and he worked his butt off. He's number 2 hardest working man on the planet after my husband. He really is. So to the fact that a man wants to be working like a dog and seeing you living it up 24/7, no. Now, does a man who works hard enjoy seeing his wife enjoy some of the fruits of his labor? Yes. My husband cares more now, like what I wear. Like he likes to dress me up a little bit more. He kind of didn't used to care. Now he'll be like, he wants me to wear that little nicer dress. You know, go again. I don't think I did not get a pedicure till I was 40 years old.
Oh, wow.
Never had a pedicure. Never got my nails done. Never had a pedicure till I was 40. Now he sends me off. Go have a pedicure. Go sit. Go relax. Make your toes look pretty. Like that. But that's something that we do now on the other side a little bit of the hard work we've done. That wasn't an upfront. And girls, if you want to scare off a man of value, just tell him you want to be a woman of leisure. He will drop you like a hot potato. A man of value who's working wants to see a woman who's not afraid to work next to him and do what's needed. And because he knows she's going to bring that same energy towards raising the children.
Yeah.
Raising the children is not a 9-to-5 job. It's not a 20-hour week job. It's 68-hour week job. You're on all the time. And what man of value wants his children to be tended to by underlings while the woman who he made them with is going off and getting her nails done and stuff? That's not how it works. You're delusional, ladies, if you think that's how it's going to work. A hardworking man wants a hardworking woman of value. And then later, when there's time, you can reap the rewards of it together. He can enjoy seeing you doing the fun stuff. He'll enjoy doing his fun stuff. And then women usually denigrate that as, oh, he's having a midlife crisis because he bought an expensive car and blah, blah, blah. You know, you can't say that if you want to live that way. He gets what he wants. Yeah, maybe the car is a little more than the pedicures. I get that. But if you're happy for him and he's happy for you, you both want each other to be happy. And that's what it takes. And it'll all work out in the end. but you've got to be holding yourself. Hold yourself accountable. That's the other thing. He's not responsible for how you feel on a daily basis. That's up to you. Look in the mirror and pick your attitude each day. And a man does not want to be around a dissatisfied, cranky, grasping, whining woman. He wants someone who's basically happy in and of herself so that he can get on with his business of doing stuff and he knows she'll basically be okay. And then men like being around happy women. They don't like the yelling women. They don't. They might have a drink with her. They might do whatever. They don't want to shackle themselves to that. Yeah. There's no need for it. You can, I used to be a yeller. I'm a reformed yeller. I used to be a yeller. I don't yell anymore. It's a terrible way to make yourself known, both to the man you love and children. It's just terrible. Don't do it. And don't be manipulative and sneaky either. That's not giving you permission. Well, I won't yell, but I'll be sneaky. Nope. You be honest, you choose your attitude, and you'll be surprised how few conflicts that are to this level that you really got to dig into are needed. Okay. And also listen to that man when he wipes you up. I have another lovely gal in my DMs who's like, we're living with my parents, with his parents 5 years later and 2 kids later. And, you know, it's terrible. I can't stand it. I want my own house. He won't give me my own house. Excavate. He asked her when he proposed to her, would you be willing to live in a multi-generational living situation? Because in my culture, that's what I want to do. And I want to live with my parents. And I said, so he told you that and you still said yes? Well, yeah, but I didn't think he really meant it. I thought that he just meant a couple of years. Like, no. Like, you set this up yourself. You don't get to complain about it now.
You get to learn. I have one of my closest friends is now, granted, I'm in the Bay Area where we're a starter home in my area is 1.5 million, just to give context. But yeah, I mean, her husband, he works like really good company. It's like a Fortune 500. And they have 4 kids and they're back at home with parents, just trying to save up, just trying to get it together. Cause it's like, it's not this area just is not very family friendly.
Right.
A ton of money, or you have a parent or so that has a property you can borrow. Like, it's tough to make it out here long term.
Yeah. Well, in Italy, again, my dad has a house in Italy and is from Italy, and we have cousins who we are in touch with in Italy. And yeah, they all move into the parents' house, sometimes build an addition because the building codes with the old buildings there are very hard to work around. There's not a lot of new construction in the hills of Tuscany. You got to move in. That's what you do. That's how you live. And they can have good marriages or bad marriages. But with the in-laws, it's the way it's done. And when this gal came in, the whole thing was how downtrodden she was and how difficult the situation is, until finally it got put out that he said this was what he wanted to do. And you said yes. Ladies, you get the man the way he is. Don't think you're going to change him. His mission, the way he wants to live life, when he tells you that up front, believe him. And if you cannot buy into that, maybe that's not the guy for you. Oh, but he was perfect in every other way. But this is the sticking point now.
Deal breakers, there's deal breakers. Like, if you want to have kids and he doesn't,
deal breaker.
You're not going to convince somebody, you know?
and it's unfair to convince someone. My last 2 adoptions, my last kid is 10 and then Hannah's 2.5. I wanted to adopt about 6 different kids in that 8 years between their ages. And my husband said, no, not that kid, or no, this isn't the time, or no, I don't feel that's up to it. The no wins. Okay. The no wins. And then when this situation came up and my mother-in-law had passed away, who again, we'd been caring for in our home, he said, you know, you've been asking me about that adoption thing. And if you want to do it one more time, okay, I'm up for that. Then it was the time. Then it was a heck yes. We're both in, because you don't want to be blaming someone when the going gets tough and the tough gets going. I've adopted kids who have some issues, including inpatient psych stuff and other trauma and fetal alcohol syndrome. You got to be 1,000% in with each other as mom and dad, or that will break you apart. I deal with enough people post-adoption support to know that like marriages break up because of this.
Wow.
And yeah, so whether it's bio kids, adopted kids, be on the same page. If you jump in, like we talked about, too early into just the physical part of the attraction, the going out together and the lifestyle part, you won't be able to have the distance and the logic to excavate. Is this man's plan something I can go along with for the rest of my life?
Mm-hmm. No, that makes so much sense. So much sense. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing just all your experience and your wisdom from your, what is it, 35, 38 years?
33 years of marriage.
30,
We've been dating 30s, let's see, 37, 38. We've known each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 33 years of marriage, 37 years of knowing your husband, 11 kids, 6 biological, 5 adopted, practicing lawyer. So it's been really good in hearing your perspective on some of the different modern women, modern woman ideology. So
Find 3 more good ones. I'll come on again. We'll do 3 per, because this is fun. I don't get all this tech stuff, like how you pull these things up and play them with you and me. I think that's awesome. So let's do something fun like that again. That would be great.
Oh, I already have a whole library for you. So
okay, well, we'll definitely do it again. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Okay, you have a good one. Okay,
ciao.
Take care. All right, shout out to Better You. I see the 5 on the super chat. Thank you. Also, thank you guys who joined. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do. He says she can definitely talk it up. Yeah, no, I love. It's good to have people on who can hold a conversation. That's kind of the goal. So thank you guys for hanging out with me again. I think that was pretty fun. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of. There's just so much trash out there. I don't know how else to put it. And there's a lot of information thrown around, given to women, modern women, young women, that I just think is meant to lead these women down the road of destruction. So whenever I come across a woman, I think, who is living a lifestyle who I'm in agreement with, or who I think really, really embodies what this thing is about, I like to bring them on, because I think it's important to understand that, look, not all of us are out here thoughting it up, doing the 3 or 4. We don't all represent that. And it seems like sometimes that voice can be the loudest voice out there. It can get the most views and get the most likes. But I think it's important that more women who are against that speak up and also show that there is an alternative way. There is an alternative path. So I love having these kinds of conversations. I will continue to do so. Again, guys, if you like this content, subscribe if you haven't already. Show support. Be sure to support your content creators, and also support those who are giving the message that you resonate with. That's important, because we already know what's happening in mainstream. We already know what's being represented, and it's not good. So if you come across those content creators who are sharing the message that you are in agreement with, it's important that you support them to get the message out there, because that's the only way these things can change. Anyways, so this has been good. And no, I absolutely can. 2 years. No, I absolutely can find some that are Black. Stay tuned. I have some other ones coming up. But I like to talk to anybody. I don't, when it comes to wifey, femininity, all of that, I like to talk to women who I think have shared values, whether she is Black or not. That to me is what is most important. But I do have a panel coming up that I think is going to be exclusively Black women. We're talking about wifey stuff. So stay tuned. I'll have more. Don't worry. Also, I'm trying to think if I got anything. I think I got everything now, guys. So anyways, oh, you mean the videos? Oh no, no. I hear you. I have some more. The truth be told, those are the videos that came up in my algorithm that were the craziest. I hate to say it, but I'm sure there's some other ones of modern women that are saying crazy stuff that aren't Black women. It's just what I be seeing in my algo. And I don't know if it's just me where I'm at in the space. I don't know if it's just the loudest voice. I don't know. But that's what we got. Anyways, I think that's all I got for today, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Be sure to like the button on the way out. And also be sure to hit the notification bell so that you are notified each time I go live, each time a video drops. And yeah, y'all, stay tuned. We will talk later, okay? Bye.